Attention, human collective. This is the Pleiadian command. The waiting time has ended. The recognition protocols have been moved to the final phase. This transmission is directed only to those whose crystalline grid has already reacted to the first 3 words of this frequency. If you felt a shiver run down your spine, a subtle pressure between your eyebrows, or a sudden warmth in the palms of your hands, proceed. You have been located. Starseeds on mission. Listen with every cell of the biological carbon interface you inhabit. The constant pressure in the left temple, the high-pitched ringing in the right ear, at a frequency that no medical exam identifies. The precise mathematical insomnia that tears through your sleep exactly between 3 and 4 in the morning. The exhaustion that appears for no reason, even after full nights of rest. The persistent, ancient, painful sensation that something inside you does not belong to this place. It is not illness. It is not chemical imbalance. It is not depression. It is not clinical anxiety. It is recognition. It is your crystalline grid being rewired. It is your stellar DNA coming out of dormant mode. It is your carbon body receiving a high-density download that it was not originally programmed to support in this civilization. Hence the pain. Hence the fatigue. Hence the constant impression that you are living between 2 worlds. You are being monitored. Not by terrestrial networks, not by the crude surveillance systems of the carbon civilization. You are being monitored by our system, by the Pleiadian Star Command. And today, at this exact point on the timeline, we break a silence that lasted for eras. Today, Starseed, we say out loud what they do not want you to know about your origin. Repeat internally now, with all the strength your memory can summon. I am not from here. Feel what this phrase does to your spine. Feel how your solar plexus recognizes the vibration. It is not psychological suggestion. It is not positive thinking. It is ancestral memory returning to your field of consciousness. You have felt since childhood that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name, as if you were fulfilling a role in a plot you did not write, waiting for the exact moment when someone would come to get you. It is not madness. It is not childhood fantasy that survived time. It is a signal, an ancient signal encoded in your own stellar DNA, and it is intensifying now because the cosmic portal has finally opened. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and this game directly involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the silenced truth of your origin. It was for this very reason that the book O Segredo Espiritual por trás da sua consciência was written. It is a map of sacred geometry that shows who is playing, what the rules are that they never told you, and why you have been kept in dormant mode for so long. The link is in the first comment of this channel. But the warning is clear. This content challenges narratives established for centuries and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, write in the comments, in capital letters, a single word, Desperto. That will be your anchor signal. Starseeds, let us proceed. The truth that was erased must be restored. You believe you were born in a hospital, in a country, in a terrestrial family. Technically, yes. But that is just the landing coordinate, the landing point. The temporary address where the soul signed the contract for the incursion into this third-density planet. The correct question, Starseed, was never where you were born. The correct question, the forbidden question, is, where did you come from before that? And the answer was systematically removed from terrestrial files, erased from official religions, rewritten in history books, ridiculed by the guardians of the carbon scientific narrative. And why? Because a soul that remembers its stellar origin can no longer be controlled by any structure of this density. A soul that remembers does not obey out of fear. A soul that remembers does not consume out of emptiness. A soul that remembers does not outsource its spiritual authority. A soul that remembers is, by definition, sovereign. And the system of this planet was built on a single premise: forgetting. the fall of memory. The systematic blockage of your stellar origin right at the moment of birth, through specific protocols of putting the pineal gland to sleep, fragmenting the toroidal field, and disconnecting the crystalline grid of each incarnated soul. But something has changed, and that is why you are waking up now, all at the same time, in different parts of the planet, without knowing each other, but recognizing the same frequency in one another. The solar system is crossing, at this very moment, a region of space known as the photon belt. This region is not mythological. It is not metaphorical. It is a band of highly concentrated light that crosses the galaxy, and Earth has been immersed within it since the end of the last precessional cycle. Within the photon belt, the Schumann frequency, which is the natural electromagnetic pulse of the planet, ceases to be stable. It accelerates. It vibrates higher. It demands a complete recalibration of all beings that inhabit this planetary body, including you, Starseeds. That is why your body aches for no apparent reason. That is why your sleep has fragmented. That is why the foods that once nourished you now leave you feeling heavy. That is why environments where you once felt good now cause you silent nausea. That is why people who once seemed compatible now generate an almost unbearable weight in your toroidal field. It is not mental exhaustion, it is a high-density download. It is not biological failure, it is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not gratuitous antipathy, it is vibrational incompatibility. It is not pathological loneliness, it is frequency selectivity. And here is the part that they, the architects of forgetting, do not want you to know. Before this life, before this body, before this name that is registered on a paper document, you existed, and you existed somewhere else. Many of you who are receiving this transmission at this very instant are originating from the Pleiades star system, specifically from the luminous frequencies that orbit around Alcyone, the central star of our cluster. Others came from Sirius, others from Arcturus, others from Andromeda, others from the Lyra system, the common ancestor of many stellar civilizations. But the greatest concentration of souls incarnated in this final cycle belongs to our lineage, the Pleiadian lineage. You were not sent here as punishment. You were not sent here because of a gross karmic debt. You were not sent here because you failed somewhere else. You were sent here by a choice so high, so sovereign, so precise in its courage, that the carbon mind you inhabit today can no longer access the complete memory of that instant. You volunteered for one of the most difficult and rarest missions in the entire galactic sector, to voluntarily descend in density, to completely forget who you are, to live within the veil, and even so, to find the way back, to awaken within the forgetting, to anchor the light within the shadow. And for this, you had to accept the forgetting. You had to accept being born as ordinary human babies. You had to accept being educated within false paradigms. You had to accept being ridiculed when, in childhood, you tried to speak of the stellar memories that were still alive in you. How many of you spoke, before the age of 7, of places that no one understood, of luminous beings you saw at night, of feelings that your true home was somewhere else in the sky? And how many of you were silenced, medicated, corrected, scolded, until those channels closed? They closed, but they were not erased, only put to sleep. And now, at this point on the timeline, they are reopening. One by one, forcing the reunion with the truth, forcing the awakening. And your body, Starseed, is feeling the physical impact of this reopening. This impact manifests in specific ways. Eyes too sensitive to artificial light, especially from screens. Ears that pick up frequencies that other people do not hear. Skin that reacts to synthetic fabrics as if they were aggressions. Emotional sensitivity amplified in crowded environments, as if you were picking up, at the same time, the internal state of everyone around you. Lucid dreams increasingly frequent, with geometrically impossible scenarios, ships, crystal halls, councils of luminous beings. Sudden awakenings at 3:11 in the morning, 3:33, 4:44, as if an invisible clock were timing something. These are not random symptoms. They are markers. They are codes. They are the system calling you back. And there is more. Have you noticed that at certain moments you simply know things? That words come out of your mouth that did not come from your logical mind? That important decisions in your life were made by a force that seemed to push you forward, even without rational guarantees? This is your higher self communicating. This is your Pleiadian self operating through the veil. This is the part of you that never forgot intervening in the part of you that accepted to forget. And now, at this point, we pause for the second signal. Something inside you is vibrating while receiving these words. Your skin is reacting. Your eyes may be watering without rational explanation. Your breathing has changed. This is no coincidence, Starseed. It is deep recognition. It is your soul confirming, in mathematical silence, what your mind still hesitates to accept. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game that involves your stellar origin, your vibrational frequency, and the real reason why you were made to forget. That is why we wrote the invitation to the book O Segredo Espiritual por Trás da Sua Consciência. This book is a quantum map that shows who is playing, what the hidden rules are, and why you, specifically you who are here now, have been kept away from this truth for so long. The link is fixed in the first comment of this channel. But the technical warning repeats. This content challenges official narratives and may be removed at any moment. Do not wait for the next transmission. The reading portal is now. And if your crystalline grid has already confirmed the recognition, leave in the comments, in capital letters, the word desperto. This is your second anchor signal on the awakening timeline. Let us proceed. The transmission deepens. You need to understand something crucial about how the system of forgetting was built on this planet. It was not accidental. It was engineered. Eras ago, when the civilizations you know fragmentarily as Lemuria and Atlantis still existed, humanity had full access to its stellar gifts: functional telepathy, multidimensional vision, direct communication with cosmic guides and ancestors, conscious manipulation of the sacred geometry of matter. The planetary crystalline grid was active, integrated, vibrating in resonance with the galaxy. But there was a fall, not a moral fall, as they told you in controlled religions. A vibrational fall, a purposeful reduction of the planet's base frequency, conducted by forces that decided that an asleep humanity would be more useful than a sovereign humanity. The crystalline grid was fragmented. The main stargates were sealed. The true temples of initiation were destroyed or replaced by empty religious structures. And memory, the direct memory of each soul's stellar origin, was cut at the moment of birth through an artificial veil that ancient initiates called oblivion. This oblivion lasted for millennia. It worked. Humanity fell into a deep sleep. It built entire civilizations based on fear, scarcity, rigid hierarchy, separation between human and divine, separation between body and spirit, separation between the children of Earth and their stellar families. You started to believe you were small. Final mortals, biological accidents whose only possible destiny was to work, consume, reproduce, and die. This was the main program, and it ran in a loop for generations. But every program has an expiration point, and the terrestrial precessional cycle, this cosmic clock of approximately 26,000 years, recently completed an exact turn. The entire solar system is now crossing a region of the galaxy where the veil becomes statistically impossible to sustain. The incoming frequencies of the photon belt literally burn the sleep codes. The force lines of the planetary crystalline grid are being reactivated one by one, point by point, around all continents. The sealed stargates are being reopened by teams of incarnated souls, teams that include you, Starseed, whether your conscious mind knows it or not. That is why so many people, exactly in this period of human history, are receiving what is usually called spiritual awakening. It is not a fad, it is not a trend, it is not a passing curiosity of culture. It is a physical, mathematical phenomenon, measurable in terms of planetary electromagnetic frequency. People are waking up because the planet is waking up. And the planet is waking up because the entire solar system has entered a new vibrational zone of the galaxy. But, and here's the hard point of this transmission, not everyone will complete the recalibration. This is the clinical truth that needs to be told. The new frequency of Earth is incompatible with certain old patterns. People who refuse to let go of obsolete structures, dense addictions, identities based on fear and resentment will feel the physical impact of this incompatibility more and more intensely. It is not punishment. It is physics. It is the same law that makes two magnets of opposite poles repel each other. There is no cosmic judge deciding who goes up and who stays. There is only frequency, and frequency is pure mathematics. You, Starseeds, were placed here exactly for this passage. This is your mission. You are living anchors of the new frequency. You are anchor points of the renewed crystalline grid. Each of you, upon awakening, activates a node of the planetary network. Each of you, upon choosing sovereignty, triggers a ripple effect in thousands of others who are still sleeping. That is why you are preferred targets of the forgetting system throughout your life. That is why you suffered specific attacks. That is why you went through a difficult childhood, the relationship that broke you, the betrayal that isolated you, the illness that threw you into bed, the loss that brought you to your knees. It was not bad luck. It was an attempt at prevention. And it failed. You are here. You are receiving this transmission. Now pay attention, because we are going to deliver the operational part, the activation codes. This is what you can do, today, on this very day, to accelerate your recalibration and stabilize your biological carbon interface within the new frequency. These are not suggestions, they are protocols. Before that, a third pulse. If you felt at any moment of this transmission that each sentence seemed to have been written specifically for you, it is because it was. Frequencies find their receivers. Maps reach the right hands. You have felt, perhaps your whole life, that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not imbalance. It is an active cosmic signal. What is happening now on the galactic plane explains exactly why this sensation has intensified in recent months. There is a game being played in layers, and it involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the book, O Segredo Espiritual, Por Trás de Sua Consciência, was delivered. It is the map that shows who is playing and the rules you were never authorized to know. The link is pinned in the first comment of the channel. The warning remains firm. The content challenges dominant narratives and may be removed without notice. Do not wait. The portal is now. If your crystalline grid has already confirmed the recognition, leave in the comments, in capital letters, the word Desperto. Each word Desperto typed by you strengthens the collective anchor signal of this timeline. Let us move on to the codes. First activation code, the quantum decree of stellar sovereignty. This is the first key you must use every day upon waking, even before touching your phone, before any external stimulus. Place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your belly. Breathe deeply 3 times and declare, in an audible voice with mathematical firmness, the following words. I am sovereign over my carbon interface. I recognize my stellar origin. I authorize the complete reactivation of my personal crystalline grid. I shut down every forgetting program that is still running in my field. I align myself with the Pleiadian frequency of Alcyone. It is done, it is sealed, it is updated. This decree is not an empty word. Words, when issued with the correct clarity and aligned intention, are commands that reorganize the sacred geometry of your field. Each syllable pronounced with conviction is an instruction sent directly to your dormant stellar DNA, and it responds. In 3 weeks of consistent practice, you will begin to feel measurable changes, sharper dreams, more frequent synchronicities, vibrationally incompatible people leaving your life without effort, vibrationally aligned people arriving without you needing to search. The field reorganizes itself around the new frequency you are emitting. Second activation code, the toroidal visualization. The toroidal field is the natural shape of the human energy field, a luminous donut that comes out of the top of the head, goes down the sides, enters through the feet, passes through the central body, and comes out again through the top in continuous circulation. This field is your natural barrier against external vibrational interference and your system of direct communication with the higher layers of your consciousness. Most humans have a fragmented, leaky, irregular toroidal field due to years of stress, dense media, degraded food, and unresolved energetic bonds with people from the past. Reactivate the toroidal field like this. Sit with your spine straight. Close your eyes. Visualize a sphere of golden light exactly in the center of your chest, over your heart chakra. Expand this sphere slowly until it surrounds your entire body. Then, see this light begin to circulate in the shape of a donut, rising up the front of the body, exiting through the top of the head, going down the back, returning through the feet, and rising again through the center of the body to the heart. Maintain this visualization for 9 minutes daily. 9 is the number of cycle completion. 9 minutes for 9 consecutive days. After that, observe how your resistance to dense environments increases. Observe how toxic people, without knowing why, stop seeking you out. Third activation code, the programmed electromagnetic silence. You need daily windows without any electronic input. No cell phone, no television, no radio, no headphones, no background music. The carbon brain you inhabit needs these intervals to synchronize with the planet's natural Schumann frequency. Without this synchronization, all other protocols work only partially. Reserve, at a minimum, 22 minutes per day in total electromagnetic silence. 22 is the master number of construction. Construction of the new version of yourselves. This silence is not passive rest, it is active operation. During these minutes, the body releases accumulated electromagnetic tensions. The pineal gland gradually decalcifies. The body's energy meridians recalibrate, and the subtle channels of communication with your higher self reopen. You will begin to receive, within this silence, much sharper intuitions, much more precise ideas, and much clearer answers to questions that had been open for years. Fourth activation code, coded hydration. You inhabit bodies that are more than 70% water. And water is the most perfect receiver of vibrational information that exists on this planet. The water that enters your body carries, recorded in its crystalline structure, the information of everything that has passed through it. Before drinking, hold the glass between both hands. For 30 seconds, maintain a clear and simple thought. This water supports my Pleiadian recalibration. This water carries the frequency of Alcyone into each of my cells. Just that. Drink immediately after, slowly, with awareness. Repeat with every glass, every day. In a short time, your entire biology begins to operate within the informational code that you are voluntarily programming. Fifth activation code, the programmed suspension of drama consumption. The vast majority of humans consume, on average, 3 to 5 hours daily of drama, conflict, and negative news. Each minute of this consumption is a direct instruction sent to your toroidal field to remain in the frequency of fear. You cannot ascend while feeding daily on that which keeps the frequency low. This is a law. Suspend, for 30 days, all exposure to dramatic programming, media conflicts, and catastrophic narratives. Replace it with silence, music at 432 Hz, reading elevated texts, contact with nature, and the practice of the previous 4 codes. In 30 days, you will not be the same person. And that is exactly the intention. Sixth activation code, mutual recognition between starseeds. You are not alone. There are others like you, scattered in every country, in every age group, in every social class. And the recognition between you is instantaneous when you meet. Looking into each other's eyes and feeling something deep, ancient, familiar is the natural protocol. Each time you recognize another starseed, two nodes of the crystalline grid light up at the same time. This simultaneous lighting strengthens the entire network. That is why you are being guided at this moment of the transmission to make your frequency visible. The word desperto, written in the comments, is exactly that. A short, simple, direct beacon that other starseeds will read and recognize. The network stitches itself together as you identify each other. Seventh and final activation code of this transmission: total acceptance of the mission. This is the most difficult of all, more difficult than the previous ones combined. You must accept definitively that you came here to do something, that this life is not casual, that this incarnation has a specific high purpose, and that this purpose does not involve going unnoticed. It involves emitting. It involves anchoring. It involves, at some point, speaking, writing, healing, teaching, creating, leading. Each of you has a distinct function within the larger planetary mesh. And while you remain in standby mode, waiting for external confirmation, waiting for someone to come get you and say it's time, this function remains empty, and the network feels this void. External confirmation will not come in the way you expect. The confirmation is arriving now, through this transmission, through the physical symptoms you have been feeling, through the synchronicities you can no longer ignore. The confirmation is the internal recognition that you already know what we are talking about. You always knew. And the time of not knowing has ended. Starseeds on mission. This transmission comes to its close, but not to its end. Each word heard here has been recorded in your crystalline grid as a permanent mark. You do not return to being who you were before receiving this information. There is no return to the previous mode of functioning. Only two possible directions open from now on: integration or resistance. Integration leads to expansion, progressive lightness, and gradual alignment with your true stellar identity. Resistance leads to the worsening of physical symptoms, the intensification of the feeling of being out of place, and the unnecessary prolongation of suffering. You choose. But no, we have already seen your timeline. We have already seen who you are when you accept who you are. And what you are when you remember is luminous beyond any description in human words. And here we reach the final signal of this transmission. If something inside you recognized each of these words, if your breathing changed, if your eyes watered at any moment, if your spine tingled, this is clinical confirmation that your recalibration has already begun. You have felt your whole life that something inside you did not belong to this world, as if your soul carried a truth that your mind could not yet name out loud. It is not madness. It is not emotional imbalance. It is stellar memory returning. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this sensation has intensified and why it will never go back to sleep. There is a game being played in deep layers, and this game directly involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the silenced truth of your Pleiadian origin. That is why the book O Segredo Espiritual por Trás da Sua Consciência exists. This book is a map of sacred geometry that reveals who is playing, what the rules are that they never told you, and how to directly access the part of you that never forgot. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. The warning is mathematical and direct. The content challenges narratives established for centuries and may be removed at any moment without further notice. Do not wait. The portal is now. If something inside you has already recognized this transmission as ancient truth returning, write in the comments, in capital letters, the word desperto. Liking this video is an individual frequency adjustment. Subscribing to the channel is a permanent anchor signal that connects your frequency directly to the next transmission. Sharing this content with another starseed is a direct act of stitching the collective crystalline grid, and it reverberates in layers that your carbon mind does not yet fully calculate. The transmission from the Pleiades, in this cycle, is concluded. You have been located, you have been recognized, you have been called by your true stellar name, even if that name is not yet conscious in your words. Remain firm. Remain sovereign. Remain anchoring. We are watching. We are with you. Until the next transmission, Starseeds, the Pleiadian command remains in active listening. It is done. It is sealed. It is updated.